People that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have.
The question isn't can you handle the situation. The question is can you handle your mind.
What changed? I changed. And I stopped being a victim. I stopped saying I've got to wait for good things to happen to me. And I said I'm going to grind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work.
A lot of the hardest problems are so easy to solve. We just have to take those steps, which are hard.
I can do anything. I can do it.
Welcome to On the Rise. I talk about personal development, small business, and I interview entrepreneurs on the rise. My name is Nelson Stryker, and I am your host. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Nelson Stryker, and that's Stryker with a Y. This podcast is brought to you by DatChat, the future of email and messaging. DatChat puts you in control of your text messages and allows you to pull back any message you've sent using secure blockchain technology. DatChat IPOs in early 2021 to the NASDAQ. Visit datchat.com/levelups and get a once-in-a-lifetime exclusive pass to purchase shares now. Again, that's datchat.com/levelups. And to my Level Up family, welcome back to the show. And my guest tonight is a serial entrepreneur. He's the owner at rabusfriends.com. He's a retired, successful network marketer and the co-founder at Uigi. Mr. Rabu Gary is in the house. Mr. Gary, what's going on, sir?
What's going on, Nelson? Glad to be here tonight, bro.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
So, listen, every show I do a quote of the day.
Okay.
And then we just chime in and give our 2 cents on the quote.
Cool.
All right. So this quote is from Charles R Swindoll. He said, "Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it."
I believe it 110%. He's right.
All right. So, and in a year like this, man, how do we even dive into something like this?
It's interesting. And it's, typically we would say take self-responsibility, but in this instance.
So our country is so polarized, man. Yeah. People are just on the complete opposite sides. Yeah. And it's like, the wrong information is like equaling death. Like people are dying because they don't have the right information.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. But as we all know, things always get better.
Yeah,
I think that's what's helping a lot of people today because they understand that things always get better.
Right, the storm passes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, just to start out the show, obviously, COVID-19 has rocked the world this year. So we want to send our blessings and our condolences to anybody who lost someone due to the virus and even the overspill of the virus, right? Because at the end of the day, people have passed for other things. Right, because maybe they couldn't get the support that they would normally get because of what's happening with the virus, right? And so, we want to, just definitely send our blessings to those that have been affected. So, all right, so Mr. Gary, man, let's jump right into it, man. Let's jump right into it, man. So let's dive into, I guess, how you got into, business. I mean, I got a lot of young guys. Who watch the show and they're into personal development.
Good.
And, we got the student loan debt. It's just crazy what some of these young guys and girls have to go through. And now you got the pandemic, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, obviously, when you were coming up, you had obstacles.
Absolutely, a lot of them.
You know what I mean? And I would assume you didn't always have a business. Right, you had to make that transition.
Absolutely.
So how did that go when you were coming up?
Oof. Man, we'd be here for 4 hours.
I know, we went through the whole thing.
Yeah. No, but I was always an entrepreneur. From the time I was a kid, and my parents would always say, my dad would always say, you're a leader amongst kids, and whenever you come up with something, people follow. And it wasn't that hard for me to transition from, working. Actually, enterprise rental cars where I got my start.
Okay.
But it wasn't hard for me to transition to being an entrepreneur or business owner, because I always felt that my goals were pretty simple. We grew up in North New Jersey. My dad was in the military, so we lived all around the country. But we weren't the wealthiest people in the world. Military budget is not the, military salary rather is not the most money in the world.
Right.
So, there was times where, and a lot of people can relate to this, we borrowed food and borrowed money from friends and so on and so forth. And that kept us at times. Sometimes living with grandparents and aunts, but my parents they were solid. But I said at that time at a young age that if I ever found something that could help everybody around me be successful, then I'll dedicate my life to that.
Wow.
And that's what made it easy for me to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because everything that I dealt with people.
Right.
So.
And that's powerful, man. And being in social work and knowing that you have that education in social work, it kind of makes sense onto how you were and how you are, being able to not just help yourself and your family, but help others. And I guess moving forward, what I guess gave you the confidence? Because I know a lot of the times people, they lack the confidence to go out there and start their own business, right? They just don't have that thing, inside them, that burning desire, that creativity, that we had growing up in those kinds of areas. You know what I mean? And it's, it's sometimes I guess it's something you can't teach. But for some people, they get to a point and they're like, well, how do I do that? What's next for me? You know? But what gave you that confidence to do it?
Well, before I say that, first of all, I just want to let you know I'm proud of you.
Thank you, bro.
I remember when we first met, and a young raging entrepreneur, fresh out of college,
man,
crew, and you guys, I used to call y'all the young guns. Man. And I knew that all of you guys would be successful.
Yeah.
So I want to let you know I'm proud of you. Glad you're married, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Got a 4-year-old son.
Yeah.
And, so I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for the show.
God bless. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, but what
that confidence, man, that drive.
Confidence and drive, I believe it comes from confidence and drive comes from your environment, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, your environment works on you harder than you can work on it. So if you are raised in a maybe a household or community where people show confidence, they show, they have some spunk to them. It typically rubs off on most people. Rarely do you see someone who's ultra confident and, just this outgoing person come from a very small, introverted, environment.
Right.
So environment means a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, practice too, having the right people around you and practicing it, because even in the area of social work now and talking about how youth, are so influenced by what they see.
Yes.
Right? It's giving them confidence, but it's giving them the wrong confidence to do the wrong things, right? And so, what we try to do as professionals is we try to, point them in the direction of positive things that they can do on a routine basis to kind of help, fight that negative, those negative visuals that they're constantly getting over and over again.
Yeah.
But being able to practice that. And I guess we can kind of segue into, how you got your start in the network marketing business, right? Okay. Because I mean, I when you get into that type of business, obviously it has its great benefits, right? You don't have to, have that huge overhead and have all the responsibility on your back.
Right.
But you can practice, you have somebody that you could learn from. It's kind of like a mentor, right? You can call them kind of like a mentor. So I guess in the network marketing phase, what made you say, this is something that I could do. This is something that I could stick with.
Cool. Well, being retired from network marketing,
Yeah.
happily, it was a blessing because one thing that people don't understand about network marketing or MLM, or some people refer to it as my family and friends are trying to sell me something. One thing that people really miss, most people in that industry, unfortunately, won't make money. You know, the FTC states that, 90+5% won't make money.
Yeah.
But it's not the money that you make. Like you mentioned, being surrounded by good mentors, by good people,
Right.
Making great relationships. Those are things that help cultivate people. And so I was drawn to that industry because of just that. You had a chance to find like-minded people like you.
Right.
And
right.
that's not hard to find. A lot of folks don't have a lot of friends, for whatever reason, but when you're able to be in an environment where people are thinking the same, they get excited about the same things, that's paramount. They
Right.
say that thing that opposites attract. I don't believe that. I believe that like attracts like.
Right.
You're able to thrive more when you're in an environment where people like what you do.
Right.
So it's a great place to. It's a great even for yourself. It's a great launch
pad. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's shout out some folks tuning in right now. Anthony Harrison, he says, time to get this bag.
That's my man.
Donnell Davis, we see you. Miss Marilyn, we see you. Zena, we see you. Thank you so much. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, folks, and we're back. Nelson Stryker on the rise. I'm here with Mr. Rabu Gary. And we are going in tonight, Mr. Retired Network Marketer, serial entrepreneur, owner at Rabu's Friends. And for those of you out there that are members and you've taken the courses and been able to really get impacted by what Mr. Gary has been able to put out there, definitely share your story. If you have something to say, put it in the comments. We'll definitely shout you out. Marcus Turner, we see you. All right. So, Mr. Gary, how you feeling, man?
I'm great, man.
You good?
I'm good.
All right, so look, let's dive right back into it, man. So, I know you're retired, but obviously, again, for the young people out there and some people that are obviously still in that area,
Okay.
what do you feel is the most common misconception people have about network marketing?
Okay, here's the number one. It's interesting you asked that. People think it's a darn pyramid
scheme.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah. And what they don't understand. Here's one. One that we're all familiar with. Amway. Amway Amway owns the arena that the Orlando Magic plays in. It's called the Amway Center.
Right.
And so, so I guess they're a pyramid. There's so many things. Mary Kay. Everybody's familiar with Mary Kay.
Yeah.
Mary Kay wasn't about makeup. It was about women empowerment.
Right.
You look at Avon. These are staples. Primerica. Taught so many people outside of the United States. Especially in a Spanish-speaking community, how to keep their funds together and use that money to help their families. So, where some people look at the network marketing industry, side eye, they really don't understand that the impact that it has had on millions of people.
Right.
While I'm retired from it, I still love it.
Right. And just to speak on it, because obviously that's kind of where I got my start. Without having you guys being as dynamic as you were, just expressing what the business was, and the way you guys expressed it, that made a huge impact on a lot of us. You know what I mean? And some of it, transferred to other businesses that ended up starting. Yep. And without the network marketing industry, I don't think I would have ever made apps. Right.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so it just really, that information, but learning how to value the information was the key. And I think that's where a lot of people are going wrong today.
Okay.
They're not valuing information.
Yeah. Wow. And I wouldn't, it's interesting. I think when people don't value information, if we want to stay there, they don't understand it. And when people have an understanding of something, they'll take it and run with it.
Right.
And a lot of times, I always say never lean on your own understanding. Because if you're trying to, let's say I'm trying to share some information with you, and you're trying to process it through your experience, through your understanding, sometimes that might not work. Sometimes people have to step outside themselves and say, yeah, I know what I think I know, but what am I trying to learn here?
Right.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people never get that lesson.
Wow.
And I got that lesson early on, man. It was things that I wanted to do, but I had I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the know-how.
Right.
So there were times I had to, they say you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I had to be quiet and be like, okay, this is what they're saying to me. Right. And then I just started taking and run with it.
Wow. And that's so major. And I definitely don't want to go into politics here, but the way you said that was totally powerful. So I have to follow up with this because, obviously we've seen racism crazy in 2020.
Sure.
It's just been at a level that we haven't seen before. And some of the experts, they kind of anticipated what was going to be happening because of, obviously the political climate that we've been in the last 4 years. So some people were able to see, but not this bad, And so when it comes to that, and people being able to step outside themselves of things, of things that they don't understand or things that they don't have the experience, what is your message to people that are under this spell of racism to where they feel like they need to hate somebody because of the way they look?
Well, see, we could talk about this for 10 days. Okay? And I never shy down to this topic ever.
Okay.
Especially being an African-American male, coming from predominantly African-American neighborhood, at the same time, I lived everywhere. I lived on every corner of the United States. And so I grew up in neighborhoods where I was the only black kid in the school, where the music I listened to, my cousins, I remember like yesterday, would have to mail me hip-hop tapes,
Wow.
They didn't play Run DMC, you might get Michael Jackson, but it was Tears for Fears, it was Motley Crue, it was Bon Jovi, it wasn't,
Yeah.
But at the same time, the friendships we started to develop at a young age, we learned to value everybody. See, what happens sometimes, the great Dr. Leary says, people sometimes say that they're colorblind. Like, I'm colorblind, I don't see racism. That's not true. We're not colorblind. Because when you say you're colorblind, you dismiss somebody.
Right.
Using her words, if you have an Asian kid, a Nigerian kid, and a white kid here, and you look at them and say, I don't see color, then you don't get it. And so what happens with racism sometimes, people tend to glance over it and think that it doesn't exist.
Right.
Where it's very prevalent all around the world, And here in the United States, unfortunately, there's been a upswell, so to speak, and maybe we can lend it to politics. We can lend it to, fear. Yeah. But unfortunately, racism is alive, and systemic racism is alive. And one thing that I'm happy about, I live in a neighborhood. It's diverse. It's not as diverse as it could be. Very well-to-do neighborhood, and I volunteer at I don't have to, but I volunteer at the school and I sub.
Wow.
And I do that because, I have some children in the school district. And I have, there's like 75% white kids that sometimes don't have a good perception of what a well-read, educated African-American male looks like.
Right.
And so I make that presence.
Wow.
And they love me and I love them. But then at the same time, I have young African-American males and females who still need to see that role model as well.
Yes.
And so it's twofold. And I think what helps racism, on what we can do to start eradicate racism, is people not allowing the pathology that it doesn't exist. And doing your best to step in and be an example and try to see all sides.
Right.
Because most people are good, man. you do have some people that are a little crazy. And again, it comes from their environment and their upbringing.
Yes.
You know, but most people are good.
Anthony says, tell it. Ray says, Boyce Watkins said racism bothered him a lot, less once he wasn't punching a clock. People in poverty are more susceptible to racist attacks.
Sure.
Okay. All right, folks, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, folks, and we're back. Kimberly, we see you. Jesse, thank you so much. Doris, she was responding to your last statement. She said, let them know. So, all right, folks, I'm here with Mr. Gary, serial entrepreneur, owner at rabusfriends.com, and it's RABUS friends.com. Co-founder at Uigi, and I see a lot of folks in Uigi shouting us out and letting us know you're there. And if you want to take it a step further, just put it in there, Uigi. Just put it in the comments and let us know you're repping the company. All right. So, Mr. Gary, man, let's jump right back into it, man.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into that retirement, because I mean, obviously, this is a place you've operated in, you know, for quite some time.
20 years.
Right? 20 years, man. So you're talking about an expert, right? You're an expert, man. If somebody wanted to know anything about this industry, you know, you're the guy, you know.
I appreciate that.
And there's a lot of power behind that, you know. I mean, I'm sure there's so many, you know, folks out there who would like to start their own company, right, and are doing it. I mean, we see, you know, companies all the time trying to pop up, and
Sure.
I'm sure they try to call you, recruit, you know, the whole nine, you know.
Every day.
Every day, right? And so at what point did you realize, you know what, I think it's time for me to hang up the jersey?
Yeah. It's funny. I decided to retire from network marketing after a good friend of mine, I call him one of my young guns also. His name's Alfred Nixon.
Okay.
Back in 2018, I met Alfred down in Miami looking at another company. And he was just getting his teeth wet in a company called FES, Financial Education Services, which is a great company. I want to give them an endorsement. Man, my credit score went from 549 to 738 the other day. So
Wow.
Yeah, but when I met Alfred, you know, he's just getting his guns going, and he was working hard, ambitious young gentleman. And we reconnected around February this year, right before the pandemic.
Okay.
And so his company was having a convention, and he said, look, man, you know, because at that time I was just going to focus on Rabu's Friends. That's it.
Yeah.
And he said, look, man, do me a favor before you decide to really leave the industry, come on out to Vegas, take a look at this convention, meet the owners. I did that. And I was intrigued. What got my attention was there were so many people that initially, you know, didn't make a lot of money, but their credit scores were through the roof. And these were people in the arena. Because I believe people, but I walked around and started interviewing not the big people, but the average person there.
Right.
And that intrigued me. And I told Alfred, I said, man, I'll run with you. And we did. And we ran real hard. And as per Alfred, I broke almost every record that company had. Not all, but many of them.
Yeah.
And however, you know, the type of work I'm used to doing and the type of work that Alfred's used to doing, it's a grind. And like, we work on higher levels.
Like different kind of grind.
Oh, man. And I realized after working that grind again for about 2 months of hitting the phones, doing the webinars, and blah, 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 I got to hang up the jersey, man. I'm too old for this mess. It's like when Jordan went to Washington.
Yeah.
I made a lot of money. I think Alfred helped me make $35,000 my first 30 days.
Wow.
$1,000 my first 30 days. And while that's a lot of money, the time and energy that I was giving to it, I said, I got to go. Did it for 20 years, I'm done.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so now that takes us to the investment group.
Okay.
Right? Because, you know, I know, you know, this is probably not just your 20 years in network marketing, but without being able to see that, I guess, that next level, right? It probably wouldn't have been as easy for you to let go. But when you saw the opportunity with the investment group, I'm sure you were like, hey man,
Oh yeah.
I can't, I can't do nothing else. This has to be where all my energy needs to go.
You're 100% right. And that's how it happened, Nelson. So I'm a co-founder. So I have a partner. His name is Russell Hayes. Introvert, incredible computer person. We own a printing company together. It does extremely well. And Russell brought the idea of investing in some cryptocurrency deals. And he had brought some ideas to me before, and we didn't make any money in them.
Yeah.
But this time he said, look, man, I found one, And actually he had partnered with this company 2 years ago and lost his email.
Oh.
And during COVID time, because we have a lot of clients who use our server space, we rent out server space, and we were just cleaning up the server. And he found, some big mess on the server, and a lot of it constituted to a whole bunch of junk emails.
Oh.
So he finds this email of this little particular crypto deal, and he made some money. And I always joked that he sent me a little punk email. He didn't even want to call me and offer and say it because I probably would have shut it down.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we got started, and it turned it from one little investment piece for our portfolio. Since then, we've added 3 other crypto deals to our portfolio. We've added Amazon stores to our portfolio. We've added mortgage notes to our portfolio. We're about to add crowdfunding on December 15th to our portfolio. And so people have made more money they've ever made in their life.
Wow.
And now I'm living my dream because I've never seen this many people make the money that they've made. Folks don't have student loans anymore. Their cars are paid off. Mortgages are paid off. It's amazing.
That's incredible.
It's amazing.
Man. Wow. And so with that, if they go to Rabu's Friends, can they see all that? Can they get the connection in UIGI? Or is that a separate? Oh, you got to do a separate
site.
Okay.
United Investment Group International is on Facebook.
Got it. The group.
Yep, they can find us on Facebook. We didn't do a website for that reason alone, because we want to have an environment that's open for the people.
Yeah,
it's
more
not
comfortable.
controlled.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, crypto is a big business. A big trend.
Yeah.
I guess we could say. Right. And I've been hearing some things about the Fed trying to get involved with crypto, but the volatility of crypto and all that.
Sure.
What, I guess, because it sounds like you guys have doubled down.
Oh yeah.
Right. You guys doubled down. I mean, and with this year, I mean, I guess you could also see the benefits of having crypto. After we saw what happened, with the unemployment benefits and
the economy.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess if you had more of a crypto, I guess if you had that comfortability of crypto or that mainstream type of crypto, it would have maybe streamlined that a little bit better. Or do you think it wouldn't have really made much of a difference?
Man, it was a perfect storm.
Yeah.
And again, you opened up the podcast here, the show here, giving respect to those who've lost family members during this pandemic, mainly because I believe the irresponsibility of our leadership, blah, 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 but I won't go into depth about that.
I agree.
But at the same time, there were many people at home, that were open to looking at something. We've helped people during a pandemic. We've helped close to 40,000 people make some serious income. People who lost their incomes.
Wow.
They lost their jobs, and they start making money with us in crypto. Now, some of them are quitting their jobs and reinventing themselves because of the money that they're making now.
Wow. That's a blessing, man. And some of those people, a lot of those folks could have been on unemployment.
A lot of them were on unemployment.
Wow.
And some of them risked that $600 check that they were getting to get started with us.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
God bless them. God bless them. So I guess for the people who don't really know that much about crypto, because I don't know, is Mr. Hayes are you guys both heavy in the crypto space? Like because sometimes you have one co-founder, their specialty is A. You have the second co-founder, their specialty is B. You know what I'm saying?
Great question.
So who's the crypto expert between you guys, or who's the crypto expert that you guys are, I guess, relying on to kind of give you the trajectory?
Perfect. Neither one of us are major crypto experts. We're probably maybe a C+ as it pertains to crypto. I'm a people's person. You find the opportunity, I'm going to bring the people.
Right.
And my word is gold. Well, people say my word is gold, so it's not hard for me to share something with people. And people say, well, I'll try it. Rabu's doing it. You know, he's shared other stuff with me before.
It's work.
And that happens.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something. So I figured I wasn't the best in crypto. You know, Russell's not the best in crypto, but we have some folks who are great at it. My good friend Jeremy Roma. You know, my good friend Dion Rambis. My good friend Dexter Sapp. Like, these guys are crypto aficionados.
Wow.
You know, and so we've learned a lot from them. And they've been able to help us and, you know, share that information with the group. It's been amazing.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So when everything gets back online, the vaccine comes out, you know, how are you guys going to be transitioning? Because this is new still, right? This is what, you guys are under a year or what?
New year. We start on May 28th.
Okay. So you're under a year.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, so what's your transition going to look like when everything opens back up again?
Perfect. We're not waiting for anything to open back up.
Yeah.
You know, if it opens up, great. You know, if it doesn't, again, we've changed lives financially
Already.
by being closed.
Yeah.
But on December 15th, we're launching another project. As I mentioned, we'll be adding crowdfunding, an international crowdfunding company. It's not United States based. And many of our projects aren't United States based. To be honest with you, Amazon stores, that is, and Morgan's knows they are.
Yeah.
We found some things internationally to make money across these waters to bring that money back here. You know, but prayerfully things open up sooner. It'll be nothing but more of an advantage to us because now we can reach more people.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
face to face.
Yeah.
You know, Zoom's has been great, but it's nothing like that. You know, like today. You know, sitting here with you.
Yeah,
you know, we could have
yeah.
did this over Zoom, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, person to person. So yeah, when it open up, we'll be great.
Awesome.
We'll be great.
Awesome. All right, so look, we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to get to the main event, and we're going to wrap up, folks. And we're back. Nelson Stryker on the rise. I'm here with the big dog, serial entrepreneur, owner at rabusfriends.com, retired network marketer, and the co-founder at UIGI. And for those of you out there that have been impacted, and you're just tuning in right now, you've been impacted by COVID, you know, again, we just want to send our blessings and our condolences to those of you out there that have been affected in any way, shape, or form. All right. So listen, folks, we're into the final round here. We're going to jump right into the main event. Mr. Gary, how you feeling, sir?
I'm great, man. I'm great.
Feeling good, man?
I'm looking at my picture in this video here. I need to lose about 15 pounds.
I don't know, man. The sweatshirt might add 10, man. You might,
okay.
you know, the videos, you know, might add a little bit,
You're
man.
nice.
All right, so look, let's shout out some folks here. Ray, we see you. Kamika, Raphael, Peter. He says he can't wait for Daisy. Oh, you're already getting fired up. Anthony Harrison. Let's see, Kim Sue, Hair Art. All right, Tommy Diaz, we see you. All right, so look, let's get right into it here. So look, our main event. Obviously, you know, again, this pandemic has just been, you know, absolutely catastrophic. I've never even used that word before, just to be straight up. Look, COVID got you using big words you don't even use. You know what I mean? It's just been so crazy, and obviously financially, you know, now they're talking about food insecurity and you know, these food banks running out of food. It's just been real tough for a lot of people. And so, you know, what kind of message can we give to folks out there who have really been hit hard by the pandemic?
Well, one, keep your head up because, as I said earlier, things always get better. One message that I could give to those who are finding themselves in a good place right now: give. Okay, like we do a great. Our group, we give to a homeless shelter in L.A. And hundreds of us have given to that homeless shelter because I've never seen poverty in the United States like I've seen it in L.A. And a good friend of mine, Herb the Entertainer, he's on Instagram, and Tiffany Rose, they're the co-founders of that institution.
Oh, okay.
And so we do our best to donate to them, and like it's something that we love to do. We're making extra. We know that people are going through some things.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't have to be to the homeless guys. If you know people who are going through some things right now, and you're doing a little bit better,
right?
You know, you can't take it to the grave with you. So you know,
That's
share
right.
it.
That's right.
Share it.
Okay. All right. So we also had, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, the rich folks out there, you know, they're rich because, you know, they think ahead, you know, they plan ahead. They don't make they don't make mistakes that are avoidable. They try to stay 2 steps ahead.
Sure.
Right. But at the same time, in trying times in an economy, you'll see people get rich than ever before. Right.
Yep.
And so how can you call it for 2021 for, how the richer is going to be getting richer next year?
That's interesting. Unfortunately, and this, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but a saying for a lot of well-to-do people is when there's blood in the streets, you buy. During times of a bad economy, when things are going down, people with all the money, they're buying up everything because they know it will always bounce back.
Right.
The plan's not going to blow up tomorrow. It's always going to bounce back. And so that's how you prepare. Take advantage of the moment. Don't take advantage of people, but take advantage of the moment. I recently came up, you started with a quote. I came up with a quote. You're going to like this one. I made this one up too. Is love people, but leverage money. Love people and leverage money. And I think that's how we'll prepare. People prepare by right now leveraging their money because you can't be everywhere at one time, And so find some, find some quote unquote moderately risky investments and let them work for themselves while if you have to go to work, if you have to run your business, do that.
Right.
So that's how we're going to get prepared. Leverage your money right now. You'll be fine.
Right. And so how about the folks that are, they're throwing up Daisy, man. They're excited about the 15th, man. I know you mentioned it only one time, but they're fired up, man. What do you want to say to the folks out there that are really eager for the 15th?
Sure. For those who don't know about Daisy, it's a crowdfund international program that launches on the 15th. Now, prayerfully, there's no technical mishaps. If there are any technical mishaps, we'll push it out a couple of days. But as it stands right now, we look to be on pace to launch on the 15th. And it's a crowdfunding project that's headed out of Israel. That's connected with artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Company, and it's going to shock the world. We right now have over 700,000 people ready to start with us on December 15th.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
That sounds like it could be some server issues, man.
Yeah. It's funny. We're stress testing the system right now.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 days, we've been stress testing it.
Okay, good, yeah.
Chances are it won't fall down.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, all right. So, look, we got the book, man. It's How Much You Keep That Counts. You and Ron Mueller, man.
Yeah, well, 90% Ron Mueller, 10% Rabu Gary.
Yeah.
No, but Ron's a good friend of mine. I met him back in 2001.
Okay.
I introduced Ron Mueller to a company at the time where we met,
yeah.
Prepaid Legal at the time.
Yeah.
And I had Ron Mueller come in and speak to a large group at Newark Airport, and he was able to sell his book. And one of our good friends, our mutual friends, Trevor Scott.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Scott.
Yeah. Who's an author of his book himself. Actually, he's written 2 books, and another entrepreneur. He owns a cleaning industry. I love it. But cleaning service rather. But the book, man. I asked Ron, could we collaborate back in 2010 or something, and we got together. I did a special edition to the book, and the book is sold over 500,000 copies. We're excited about
major,
that.
Man.
And I give it away now. Ron still sells his, and I recommend everyone, if you want the updated version, you could go to Ron Mueller's website and get it.
Okay.
And I always send that off when I mail off my book, but I give it away now. I don't have to sell it. I'm blessed where I don't need the money from selling it.
Amen.
So we give it away. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, amen to that, man. And just before we go, man, and I don't want this to be, because I know you could go deep into this, but I remember watching you talk about you going through, I guess, overcoming the accident. And obviously, you are a blessed man. You've had a great heart of gold, man. It seems like all your life, you know, and God said it's not your time,
Yep.
you know, and I know you don't like to talk about it, you know, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention it because, you know, so many people lost people this year.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're really going through it, man. So I guess what can you say changed after, you know, just God just said, you know what, man, you ain't going.
Yeah.
You staying.
Well, I'll say this. A lot didn't change because my faith in God is extremely strong, you know, so a lot didn't change. I'll say this, I don't speed as much anymore. That's one.
Yeah.
Not saying that the accident was caused by speeding, but nonetheless, a lot didn't change because my faith has always been strong. And it gave me a different outlook on life to where I could have been gone and, you know, my wife is here today and she would have been left without a husband. My kids would have been left without a father. My mother would have been left without a son. My sister would have been left without a brother. And so I'm glad I was, you know, car flipped 7 times, you know, was able to walk away with a scratch and, you know, things are great, you know, and if I had to go back and change it, I wouldn't, you know. Life happens and helps you appreciate life even more.
Amen. Amen. Amen to that, man. All right, folks. And with that being said, we're going to wrap it up. So to my Level Up family, thank you for watching. And to those of you on the podcast, thanks for listening to On the Rise. Subscribe, leave us a rating or a review so you don't miss any level ups from the show. You guys take care.